Hi guys, in this video we are going to be discussing how we don't and never will know idols. This will include the AOA Mina and Jimin situation. And believe me when I say that I disagree with most things that people are saying about them. There are a lot of opinions on this, but I at least think that a lot of these opinions are stupid. If you hold one of them, well, you are entitled to your wrong opinion. As a teacher of mine used to say, without further ado, let's get started. The first thing we need to settle is what the profession of being an idol means. Yes, I did just call being an idol a profession, because that's what it is. It isn't some hobby that the idols have, they spend most of their time doing it and get paid to do it, or at least they are supposed to get paid, but that's a whole nother issue. With that in mind, we can't separate the job of being an idol from normal jobs. What I mean by that is that the way you act when you are working is different from the way you act when you're off the job. When you work, you act professionally, you don't want to mess up opportunities, and of course getting a raise wouldn't be bad either. Idols may be friends with their fellow members and staff, but that doesn't make what they're doing any less of a job. Their fellow members are also their co-workers. And what does their job consist of, you may ask? Well, an idol's job mostly comes down to doing stuff in front of cameras. Sure, they record songs and learn dances, but the main portion of their time is performing in front of cameras. Whether that is performing their songs on a music show or going on VLive using their phone, it's all the same. Their goal is to produce content for their fans. When people say that an idol's job is performing, they don't just mean on the stage. The fact that cameras are on them a lot of the time means that they are on the job during those times. And being on the job means performing, no matter where that is happening. No matter what situation you're seeing the idol in, they are performing because that is their job. The backstage clips their companies release, performing. Going on VLive, performing. Their reality show, performing. Companies like to market pretty much every time you see an idol off the stage as their true persona. Or a persona you will connect with more, but they are still on the job. Something that is said of many idols is that they are fierce on stage but are really sweet off stage. But off stage isn't really off of the metaphorical stage, because it's still on camera. Their sweet off stage persona is just another part of the image that either they or their company figured would draw in fans. I'm not saying that they are being entirely fake, since it is more difficult to make up a fake personality entirely than to draw from your real one. But you do need to recognize that they probably don't act like that when they're around their friends and family. Idols know that being filmed in any situation is their job and they need to act a certain way. It's not like they are unaware of the cameraman following them around as they get their makeup done backstage. After all, a camera being pushed in your face is rather hard to ignore. Now for that reason, we absolutely cannot say that any content we see from idols is their true or real personality. And that's why the AOA situation shouldn't be a surprise. When I found out the news about Jimin having bullied Mina and giving her permanent psychological damage over the course of 10 years, I'm sad to say that I was not surprised. Of course I was sad for Mina and angry that Jimin would do such a thing, but not surprised. People were saying that Jimin used to be their bias, and they were so oblivious to her true personality, but I'm not sure why. People are sharing around videos of Jimin being rude to Mina and ignoring her when she was crying, as well as other videos where the members seem to be angry at Jimin, but I think that they are missing the point. The conclusion that people should draw from this situation is not Jimin was a horrible monster all along. Here is evidence. It should be that Jimin managed to hide this so well. Look at how the general public can only dig up around 10 or maybe 20 clips of Jimin acting that way, and then compare that to the hundreds of videos AOA have created throughout their careers. That is an absolutely astonishing ratio. Think about the high-pressure idol environment, where you have to work long hours for years, bound to a contract with people you might not even like. People are so different from each other. You surely cannot expect all idol groups to get along absolutely swimmingly even if they were just getting together for a picnic, because no random group of people would. And here you have them dealing with the huge pressure to be perfect in everything they do. It's not really their fault that they don't get along either. People just have different personalities and it's okay to admit that. Granted, different personalities is a very different statement from bullying someone for 10 years. but the realization that idol groups are all besties opens the door to the bullying aspect. Within those different personalities there is going to be a mix of genuinely good, just average, and really horrible people, all of who are becoming idols at equal rates. Wanting to be an idol and being a terrible person are not mutually exclusive. Jimin went to Mina's house and pretty much gaslighted her, which either means she is incredibly manipulative or genuinely doesn't see anything wrong with her actions. Both make her a bad person. No one stopped Jimin when she auditioned for FNC and asked her if she thought she would bully her members in the future. No agencies require a year of charity work to become an idol, either. All sorts of people become idols, but we don't really end up noticing that because on our end, all we can see is the idol's working personas, the way they act when they are on camera. There are probably many more Minas and Jimins out there that we just don't know about because we are not personal friends of these idols. A less severe example would be when an idol is revealed to have been a bully when they were in grade school. I am confused about why people are so angry or surprised about this one either. Of course some people in the idol industry would have been bullies in their past, and those very people could still be bullies now. They may have apologized to the victims who outed them, but that doesn't mean that they have changed their ways outside of the public eye. Public perception and what idols do behind the scenes are very different things. But does it even matter what idols do or have done in their personal lives when we are never going to see it anyways? When I was writing the first part of this script, I wondered if it really mattered that we didn't know about idols' true personalities if we would never end up seeing those anyways. Why not just take their stage personas as their true personalities, if we won't ever have their real personality to compare it to? I think there are two ways to answer this question. The first way is that it doesn't matter. I think that this is the position that many K-pop fans take, whether they are simply unaware that idols act differently or they just don't care that it happens. This could be because as a fan, you genuinely don't want your idols to be anything less than perfect because it would ruin your personal perspective of them. If your bias, who was known to be a pure and sweet idol, suddenly was caught on camera cussing out their fellow members or even an inanimate object, your perception of them would probably change. Maybe they wouldn't even be your bias anymore. But that hypothetical is kind of pointless since no idol would be caught dead giving up their stage persona like that. You could also think that it doesn't matter because though you are aware of the whole fake persona business, you just don't care. I would place myself in this camp. I know about the issue. For goodness sake, I'm making a whole video about it. But I feel like I can still appreciate what the idols put out for us. You can know that idols are acting fake and still enjoy it. I think that my biases are cute when they do egg you even if I have a suspicion that they internally hate doing it. Becoming more woke shouldn't ruin K-pop for you. You can just appreciate its finer details. I actually admire idols more for their performance skills when I know they do it for such long hours, and they are putting in the effort to make that good backstage content even though their company is trying to sell it as them not trying. Now, the second way is that it does matter. This relies on the fact that you genuinely want to be idolizing good people and don't want bad people to have a platform. Though I do think that you should try to avoid standing horrible people and that bullying people is generally bad. I do not think that you will ever be able to make a good decision when it comes to this. You can try your best to avoid standing bullies, but what are you supposed to do when you don't know about it because the idol has hidden it so well? Honestly, the only way to be 100% sure that you aren't standing any horrible people is just to abstain from standing anyone altogether. You can never know what an idol's real personality is, and that's completely fine. That is why I subscribe to the first opinion. I want to enjoy K-pop, but that doesn't mean that I need to take everything that idols and companies say at face value. I admire idols and their performances make me happy. That should be all it takes. I don't need to know that idols are completely genuine when they say how much they love their fans or their members to appreciate what they say anyways. In no way is this video a drag on K-pop itself. If anything, I think that gaining a deeper understanding of it can help you enjoy it more. In terms of the future of K-pop, I don't think that anything is going to change, honestly. Maybe idols who are bullies right now will stop simply because they are afraid of being outed like how Mina outed Jimin, but of course that doesn't directly address the fact that they are bad people. I think that the real problem is the system that encourages the toxic dynamics that led to Mina and Jimin's situation. Companies force idols to act perfectly and not show any signs of not getting along when they are in front of the camera. So of course behind the camera any problems they do have are just going to get worse. Also, behaviors like bullying don't come out of nowhere. People take behavioral cues from the people in power around them. So Jimin could be copying company culture, or have felt free to act on her worst impulses in that environment. To survive in K-pop you need to have a strong mentality, and not everyone has that, and though that should be okay, according to companies it isn't. To truly see a change in the number of cases like theirs, we are going to need a change in the system, and I don't see that happening anytime soon. We can hope, but in my opinion the only way we'll see change is if every bully and victim in the industry all came out at once, making companies realize that it is actually a good monetary investment to get therapists for their idols, or something like that. Unfortunately for victims, money is the only thing that talks in the K-pop world. That being said, that's going to be it for this video. It was maybe of the hardest to write videos I've ever made. By the end there it was getting pretty tough and sad to think of all the bullying victims we don't know about. At least a seed of change has been planted thanks to Mina, and we have hope for the future. Bye guys, and I'll see you in the next one.